The night was thick with humidity, the kind that clings to your skin and makes every breath feel heavy. Ethan Caldwell stood in his backyard, staring at the empty poolside table where his waterproof prosthetic leg, Dula 30,000 of precision-engineered titanium, should have been. His heart pounded as he clutched a small white card left in its place. The words written in sharp, deliberate cursive. Unauthorized equipment VY Seibel from neighboring properties is prohibited per HOA Regulation 12.7. Item confiscated as EVY Denke of violation. Contact HOA office during business hours to resolve. Signed, Lydia Harper, HOA President. Ethan's hands shook with a mix of rage and disbelief. Lydia, the self-crowned dictator of Sunshine Meadows, had trespassed into his private backyard and stolen a piece of him. This wasn't just an HOA infraction, it was theft, a violation so brazen it felt like a personal attack. He grabbed his phone, his jaw clenched, knowing this was the opening shot in a battle he hadn't chosen. My name is Ethan Caldwell, and I've lived in Sunshine Meadows for 3 years. It's a suburban bubble of flawless lawns, identical houses, and an HOA that rules with the precision of a military regime. I'm a 36-year-old cybersecurity analyst, a quiet guy who works from home and keeps to himself. I also have a prosthetic right leg, the result of a car accident at 25 that took my leg below the knee. I've got a few prosthetics for different needs, a high-tech everyday model, a rugged one for hiking, and a waterproof one for swimming. Most neighbors don't even notice I'm an amputee unless I mention it. That is, until Lydia Harper decided I was her new obsession. Lydia, 55, with a platinum bang black blonde pixie cut and a wardrobe of pastel blazers, was the HOA president and unofficial tyrant of Sunshine Meadows. She wore her authority like a badge of honor, her HOA pin gleaming on her chest as she patrolled the neighborhood in her white Mercedes SUV, clipboard in hand, hunting for infractions. To her, this wasn't just a community, it was her kingdom, and she guarded it with a zeal that bordered on obsession. My first week here, she fined me Dula 20 because my trash can was out 10 minutes past pickup. I paid it, shrugged it off, and figured she'd move on. I was wrong. The real trouble started last spring when I installed a small accessibility ramp at my front door. It was subtle, built by a professional contractor to blend with my house, designed to make life easier on days when my residual limb ached. I submitted the paperwork to the HOA's architectural committee, knowing the bylaws. If they didn't respond within 30 days, the project was approved. I waited. No response. So I built it. 4 days later, Lydia was on my porch, her clipboard clutched like a weapon, her lips pressed into a thin line. She rang my doorbell relentlessly until I answered. "Good morning, Ethan," she said, her voice icy. "I'm here about this unapproved structure." She gestured at the ramp like it was a personal insult. I kept my tone even. "Morning, Lydia. I submitted the paperwork 6 weeks ago and never heard back. Per Section 8.3, that means it's approved." Her eyes narrowed, a flicker of irritation crossing her face. "The committee has concerns about property values. Ramps carry a certain implication." Implication? I raised an eyebrow. "You mean accessibility? Or are you saying my disability lowers property values?" She shifted uncomfortably. "The bylaws require exterior modifications to preserve the neighborhood's aesthetic. This ramp is an eyesore. You'll receive a violation notice, and we'll address this at the next meeting." She scribbled on her clipboard and marched back to her SUV, her heels clicking with purpose. I closed the door, my stomach sinking. This wasn't about the ramp, it was about control. Lydia had marked me as a threat to her perfect little world. Over the next few weeks, the violations piled up. My mailbox was misaligned by 0.1 inches. My grass was a 1/4 inch too long. My backyard bird feeder was attracting nuisance wildlife. Each notice came with a fine, each one more ridiculous than the last. I paid them at first, hoping to avoid a fight, but it was clear Lydia was out for blood. She wanted me to bend. Then came the day that broke me. It was a scorching Saturday in July, and I decided to cool off in my backyard pool. My routine was simple. Leave my everyday prosthetic on the poolside table, switch to the waterproof one, and swim. After a few laps, my phone buzzed with an urgent work and mail a client server was down. I swapped back to my regular prosthetic, rushed inside to my office, and got sucked into a 2-hour call. In the chaos, I forgot to bring my waterproof leg inside. When I finally stepped outside to retrieve it, my heart stopped. The table was empty, except for that white card. My prosthetic was gone, stolen from my fenced-in backyard. I read the note again, my hands trembling with fury. Confiscated. Lydia had crossed a line, entering my property and taking a doula 30,000 medical to VYC like it was a lawn ornament. I called her. Voicemail. I tried the HOA office. Closed until Monday. It was 5:30 p.m. on a Saturday. I left messages, my voice tight with barely contained anger, then grabbed my keys. This couldn't wait. I drove to Lydia's house, a pristine colonial with a lawn so perfect it looked artificial. A sign in her garden read, Lydia Harper, HOA president, as if she were running for office. I rang her doorbell, my pulse racing. When she opened the door, her smug smile wavered when she saw my expression. Ethan, she said, her tone dripping with false warmth. The HOA office is closed until Monday. If this is about the confiscation, you stole my prosthetic leg. I interrupted, my voice low and steady. You trespassed into my backyard and took a doula 30,000 medical to VYC. That's not an HOA rule of that's theft. Grand larceny. I want it back. Now. She crossed her arms, her chin lifting. It was VY Cybel from the Thompson's window, VY OLADing Regulation 12.7. If it's so valuable, you shouldn't have left it out. You can get it Monday after paying the doula $200 fine. I stared at her, incredulous. You're holding my prosthetic hostage? You broke into my yard and stole a medical to VYC. That's a felony, Lydia. She laughed, a sharp, dismissive sound. The HOA contract you signed is legally binding. I'm doing my job. Make a fuss if you want. I pulled out my phone, locked eyes with her, and dialed 911. I'd like to report a theft of medical equipment, I said, my voice calm but firm. A prosthetic leg, valued at doula 30,000. The thief is standing in front of me, refusing to return it. She left a note confessing. I gave the dispatcher Lydia's address, watching her smugness dissolve into panic. By the time I hung up, her face was pale. The Astoria police are coming, I said. Last chance to give it back. She stammered, backpedaling. This is a misunderstanding. I can get it now if you're going to be so dramatic. It's not a misunderstanding, I said. It's theft. Where is it? She led me to a shed in her side yard, unlocking it to reveal a hoard of confiscated items. A kid's bike, a set of wind chimes, a garden statue. My prosthetic was propped in the corner like a trophy. I grabbed it, checking for damage, my hands shaking with relief and rage. 2 police cruisers pulled up as I stepped out. I showed the officers the note and the shed's contents, explaining everything. Lydia tried to defend herself, babbling about community standards, but the lead officer cut her off. Ma'am, an HOA doesn't let you trespass or steal, especially not medical equipment. This prosthetic's value makes this grand larceny a Class B felony. That's up to 25 years. Lydia's face drained of color. As the officers cuffed her, neighbors gathered, whispering their phones out. Her carefully crafted image shattered as she was led to the cruiser, her blazer askew, her eyes wide with shock. The aftermath was swift. The DA's office called 2 days later. Lydia faced charges of grand larceny, trespassing, and theft for the shed's contents. She took a plea, 6 months of house arrest, 5 years of probation, and a doula 15,000 fine, plus restitution. The HOA board ousted her unanimously, issuing an apology and promising reform. A week later, an anonymous envelope appeared in my mailbox with a photo of Lydia sneaking into another neighbor's yard, time-stamped weeks earlier, and a note. She's been at this for years. I turned it over to the police, who found EVY Denke of her extorting neighbors with fines to fund her lifestyle. The shed was just the start. I saw Lydia once more at a community meeting where the new board discussed changes. She sat in the back, her hair grown out, her face hollow. Our eyes met, and she mouthed, "You destroyed me." I didn't respond. She destroyed herself. Sunshine Meadows is calmer now. The fines have stopped, my ramp stands, and the new board is fair. But I still lock my prosthetics away after swimming. In a place like this, you can never be too careful. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.